Hi, my name is Ashley Johanson, and today I'm going to be talking about Judith Sargent Murray's On the Equality of Sexes. This is a writing that focuses on women's rights and advocates for women during this time period. So, to start, this topic relates to the course because by looking at the historical text, we are given a clear insight into the aspects of society during those time periods. Through other texts we read during this course, such as about the Salem witch trials, the theme of sexism and misogyny have become very evident. Writers during this time period were often faced with the challenge of how they wanted to convey women's roles. In the writing On the Equality of the Sexes, this is a great example of that because she is able to challenge women's roles by asking the hard questions such as why females have the reputation that they do and why they don't have the same rights as men. Her writings really help to provide an insight into the Republican motherhood of the time and also helps to further the understanding of how women's literature has been able to evolve since then. So, taking a closer look at Judith Sargent Murray, she was born into a wealthy mercantile family in Massachusetts in 1751. Her overall upbringing, such as her experiences and her education, really helped open up her eyes to the discrimination against women. She spent her adolescence being prepared for marriage and for the family life, while her brothers were educated, such as going through Harvard and having private tutors, and she compared her inadequate education to that and realized that she really needed to fight for women. She was married at only 19 years old. However, her husband died in 1787. After this, she was able to really find peace through writing and fell for her minister, John Murray, who she married in 1788. Shortly following this in 1790 is when she published her writing On the Equality of Sexes. This writing was really important because it forced readers to answer a lot of questions about their perception of women. She made statements such as, "I know that to both sexes, elevated understandings and the reverse are common. But suffer me to ask, in what the minds of females are so notoriously deficient or unequal?" Due to the questions that she was asking, you can assume that this writing was directed towards policymakers, husbands, and really any males during the time period that had an influence on women's roles in society. She's able to make multiple arguments about how all souls are equal to each other despite gender. She brings up really unique things too, such as how women's unique ideas and perspectives should be nurtured and valued. And she also touches upon the dangers that can be caused by suppressing women and making them feel inferior. By doing so, and by limiting women, they were forcing them to become bored, unhappy, and just overall unsatisfied with their lives. This led them to fall into dangerous behaviors and patterns such as prostitution, gossip, and so on. With those things in the world, it was chaotic, and without it, the world would just be a better place. She's also able to argue that although men might be physically stronger, that does not make women the weaker sex. Instead, both genders have strengths and weaknesses of their own. So, in conclusion, she is one of the many American feminists that advocated for women. However, what makes her different and her unique was her perspective and the way that she focused on how education would enhance women's ability to contribute to society and how important it was. Not only that, but she empowered women by emphasizing that fighting for women's education and economic independence does not make them any less female. So overall, she was a great feminist during this time, and it's important to look back at what she had to say today. So if anyone has any questions about this topic or anything that they'd like to say, then yeah, just let me know.